Hello, my name is Joa. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. And if you already practiced with me in the past, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a slow flow to help you both start your day or prepare yourself to end your day. We're going to be doing slow movements to help you open up your body. And we're going to start in our child's pose. Placing the knees slightly wider than hips distance. Allow the hips to go back towards the heels and allow the forehead to drop onto the floor. Try to extend the arms by walking with the fingertips all the way towards the top of your mat, resting the forehead onto the floor, lengthening through the arms. Slowly come onto the fingertips. Keep walking the fingers farther forward. Keep the forehead resting down onto the floor. Notice the length on the arms, the elevation of the shoulders as you keep the hips down, going towards the heels. On your next inhalation, lift gently the head of the floor and walk the hands over to the right side. Keep the hips in the same position, the legs in the same position. We're just moving the arms and starting to find a nice stretch in the left side of the body. Press the fingertips down onto the floor and keep lengthening through the arms by walking with the fingers farther. Start to notice a nice stretch on the left side of the body. On the next inhalation, walk the hands back to the center and then walk the hands over to the left, stretching now through the right side of the body. On every inhalation, see if you can find more depth on the side body stretch by walking the hands farther out, keeping the hips going back and down towards the heels. On the next inhalation, walk the hands back to the center and move forward into your tabletop position, hands and knees onto the floor. Take a deep breath in. Send your right arm all the way up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bring the hand either behind your back towards the lower back, or maybe, if you feel more comfortable, grab with your right hand your left thigh, opening your right shoulder, looking up towards the sky. Press with your left hand down to the floor and start opening your right shoulder more, sending it high. Slow and long breaths here. On your next inhalation, send the right arm up towards the sky, and as you exhale, thread the right arm in between the left arm and leg. Drop the right shoulder onto the floor and allow your right ear to drop onto the mat. Left hand pushes down onto the floor. Left shoulder tries to lift. We're twisting gently. Try to keep both your hips parallel as much as possible. Make sure your breath is slow, is deep. On every inhalation, Try to lengthen slightly, and on the exhale press more with the left hand to create a bit more twist, a bit more depth. This is a really nice twist to do both in the morning and in the evening, to either start or end your day. Slowly, when you're ready, press with the left hand down onto the floor and bring the right hand back into your tabletop position. Let's switch to the other side. Take a deep inhale, send the left arm all the way up. And slowly option one hand back towards your sacrum, towards the lower back. If that feels okay, bring the left hand towards your right thigh from behind and start opening your left shoulder, sending the shoulder up and gently back, pressing strongly with the right arm down towards the floor. Every inhalation, consciously try to become longer through the spine. Every exhalation, consciously try to send the shoulder up and back a bit more. On your next inhale, send your left arm up. And as you exhale, thread the left arm between the right arm and leg. Drop the left shoulder down to the floor. Drop the left ear down to the floor. Right hand pushes down. We twist. Try to keep the hips squared as much as possible. On your next inhalation, push the right hand down onto the floor. Bring both the hands back into your tabletop position. Flex your feet. Lean back and lift the hips high towards your downward facing dog. It doesn't matter if your knees are bent or extended. Regardless where you are, make sure your spine is long. Your hips are going up towards the ceiling. And you're sending the weight back towards the feet by pushing strongly through the arms, creating length both in the arms and the spine. Relaxing through the neck, looking back towards the feet, looking back towards the toes. Focusing on deep and slow breaths. Take a deep inhale, send the heels all the way up. And as you exhale, allow the heels to gently drop out to the left side. Keep pushing strongly through both the arms and start noticing a nice stretch on the right side of the body. From the right wrist, most likely, all the way toward the right hip. Pushing strongly through both the arms, trying to ground through both heels. Keep the neck relaxed. On the next inhalation, send the heels all the way up again back to center. And as you exhale, send the heels out to the right. Now noticing the stretch on the left side. Keep pushing strongly through both arms. Find that length. And allow the hips to gently lean to the right so you can find a nice stretch on the left side of the body. Keep your breath relaxed. Keep your breath deep. On your next inhalation, send the heels high. And exhale, allow the heels to go back and down towards the floor into your downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale, send the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest. Send the right knee over to the right, the foot towards the left, so we externally rotate, and allow the shin to drop, the knee to drop, coming towards a pigeon pose. Here feel free to adjust yourself in whichever way feels comfortable for you. Maybe you place a pillow underneath your hips. You may send the foot closer to the hip, or maybe you are moving more toward a 90-degree angle. Doesn't matter where you are, really, as long as you notice that you're opening through the right hip, through the right leg. That is the most important, if not the main thing, really, for this particular practice. Finding a nice external rotation, so you want to feel it right inside the joint, in the groin. Feel free to either keep the back foot pointed or flexed, depending what your level of comfort is right now. I always prefer to keep the foot flexed on the back leg, so I'm also finding a bit of opening on the back hip flexor, on the front of the thigh. But if you feel that's too much for you, feel free to point the foot. Take a deep inhalation, and as you exhale, allow the chest to drop. Feel free to place the hands in front of you for the forehead to rest on. Feel free to readjust your body gently and slightly on every breath to make sure you are feeling that action of external rotation on the right hip. You actually want to feel something. You want to feel a slight tension, gentle tension. Try to breathe into that tension. Try to relax into it. On the next inhalation, bring the hands back onto the floor in front of you. Push down onto the floor. Lengthen through the arms, open the chest. Option to stay here. If this feels comfortable for you, try to bend through the back leg. Reach with the, in this case, left hand, left foot, same hand, same foot, and gently try to pull the heel towards you, keeping the right arm extended, keeping the chest open slightly. If this feels too much, then we keep our regular pigeon position with both hands onto the floor. Last deep breath in, wherever you are, and exhale. Flex the back foot, step back into your tabletop position, move the hips a little bit to release some tension. And when you're ready, lean back, lift the hips high into your downward facing dog. On the next inhalation, send the left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest, externally rotate the legs, so knee over to the left, foot over to the right, drop down the leg, and readjust yourself into your pigeon pose on the other side. Again, feel free to either keep the heel close to the hips, or if you feel more comfortable, try to move toward a 90-degree on the front leg. Back foot either flexed or pointed. Try to be long. Try to lift your upper body. Gently pressing both the legs down towards the floor to find a slight activation. Taking a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, send the hands forward, bring the hands one on top of the other, forehead on top of the hands, into a reclined pigeon position. Try to readjust your body in every breath. And again, if this feels too intense, you can always place a pillow underneath your left hip in this case. You can also place a pillow underneath your forehead. Try to make sure you are comfortable in the position. And again, we're looking for that gentle, that slight tension. Keeping the front foot flexed, ideally, to find a bit of that tension on the hip joint, on the hip region. Slowly bringing the hands back onto the floor, extending through the arms if possible. Option to stay here. If this feels okay, we're going to try to bend through the back leg. Do not worry too much if the hips lift slightly. And we're going to try to grab with the right hand the foot, pulling the foot towards us, towards the hips, to start finding a nicer opening on the right hip flexor. If possible, keeping the left arm fully extended. One more inhale here. And release. Bring both the hands onto the floor. Flexing the back foot, stepping back into your tabletop position. Moving gently the hips. Very good. And we're going to start moving toward our back bend from our tabletop. So slowly take a deep inhalation. Send the hips back for a moment towards the heels. Exhale. Inhale back to your tabletop. Exhale, try to ground the hips down into an either cobra with the arms extended or with the arms bent if this feels too much. Inhale deep, extend the arms back to tabletop. Exhale, hips back towards the heels. Feel free to readjust the distance between the hands and the knees to make it comfortable for you. Inhale deep, come back towards your tabletop. Exhale, allow the hips to drop. Make sure you're not shrinking onto the shoulders. When you reach your position, your back bend, push down through the arms, shoulders down, so there is more separation between the ears and the shoulders. Inhale back to your tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Let's do 2 more like this. Inhale deep to your tabletop. Exhale, cobra. Pushing onto the floor. Separate the shoulders from the ears. Inhale back to your tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. One last time. Inhale deep, come to your tabletop. This time on the exhale, drop the hips, bend the elbows, drop the chest down onto the floor. Bring the forearms in front of you. Option to stay into a sphinx for a few breaths, focusing mainly again on pushing onto the floor, lifting the head higher and bring the shoulders down. So maybe we're here, making sure the shoulders are right underneath the elbows, shoulders go back and down, and as we're pushing the shoulders down, we're naturally lifting through the chest and we're lifting through the head. Gently engage your glutes and gently press the hips down to the floor. Feet may be together or slightly apart. If this feels comfortable, you have the option to press with the hands onto the floor a little stronger to extend the arms. Again, keep the shoulders back and down so you're separating them from the ears. Wrapping the arms into external rotation so the triceps or let's say the elbows go back and in towards one another. Shoulders back and down. Glutes gently engaged. Hips pushed gently down. Last deep breath in. And on the exhale, bend the elbows, drop the head down, forehead on the floor, maybe one of your cheeks to the floor, and breathe. We'll move one last round. So option to repeat the same position, or if you want to go slightly deeper, a bit more intense into your back bend, the hands would go right parallel to the pecs, making sure they are close to the upper body. Elbows go in, shoulders back and down, and we start pressing gently with the arms. Maybe we're coming into a baby cobra. Maybe we're able to push a little bit more, keeping the elbows bent at first. And if you feel comfortable, and if there is no tension at all on the lower back, we're going to try to extend more through the arms, maybe extending the arms fully. Again, try not to shrink the shoulders, try not to bring them towards the ears. Instead, the shoulders push down, so they separate from the ears, keeping the hips down onto the floor, glutes engaged. Lifting the chest, shoulders back and down. Noticing a tension mainly on the upper back, a sort of contraction on the upper back. The lower back should feel quite comfortable here. If it's not, that means you need to go more gentle by bending the elbow, maybe coming lower. But try make sure if there is some tension, it's happening on the upper back rather than on the lower back. By opening the chest, by lifting higher through the thoracic. When you're ready, allow the elbows to bend and relax for a moment. Breathe naturally, maybe even slightly deeper than naturally. Through the belly and through the nose. With the help of the hands, push onto the floor. Come back into your child's pose. Separating the knees slightly wider than hips distance, allowing the forehead to drop. Natural breaths. Feel free to close your eyes. Notice any sensation that may arise, that may appear in the body. And try to check for any tension there may be. And if there is any tension in your physical body, on the next few exhalations, try to completely release of that tension. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Deep and slow exhale through the mouth. Inhale deep through the nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. One last time, inhale deep through the nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. With the help of the hands, push yourself back. And slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much for sharing your practice today. If you enjoyed the session, let me know in the comments. And also if you have any other practice that you'd like to do that we haven't done already or that you'd like to do again, write it as well in the comments, so then I can create it for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so you get notified for all the new classes I have coming up. And also in my channel you will find power yoga classes, hatha classes, you will find some restorative sessions, flexibility routines and mobility practices. Basically everything you need to improve your practice. Hope to see you in the next one. Namaste.